you know, we didn't actually plan a cold open, which is what we normally would have some type of topic to start about. So we're all just looking at each other like, who's
What are
going to
we
say
gonna
something?
say?
So I'll talk about what I'm doing this weekend. Tomorrow, I'm going to Epperson, which is a community quite a few big builders
Oh, fun.
build in. It has the Crystal Lagoon. I've mentioned this before, but I'm finally going. I got the drone charged up, the remote right here, which I like the battery on this lasts forever. We are super pumped. But what's interesting is like no one that lives here local knows about it. Like it's like an hour away, which isn't a bad drive, but we have Adventure Island, we have Busch Gardens, we have Disney, an hour and a half, 2 hours, we got the beaches. Like, so we all do things outdoor during the summer, especially what do you do with your kids in Florida? Like it has to be like water related. Otherwise you're just melting your face off.
Mhm.
It's terrible. And so this is pretty affordable. It doesn't seem like it's super crowded. I'll find out tomorrow, but like from what I've looked online at reviews, like it seems like a really good option, but like no one knows about it. And I looked at it further. I'm like, all right, so the Instagram doesn't really post much. They don't do really any ads.
Huh.
You see like ads on Facebook for all these other places that are like very family oriented
But you
during the
said it's
summer.
1 hour away.
Yeah, an hour, which isn't like
Okay, well
it's in the
that brings
area.
up
Like it's
like
pretty close.
yeah, in the marketing Slack channel, we had
Yeah.
Bryce who
Mhm.
put in a funny a sign near her house that said
Okay.
waterfront homes from the 300s.
Oh my. That's a
And
good
it was
price.
a community that was an hour and 15 minutes from her house.
Okay, that's
And so
going
she's like,
downhill
what
quick.
is this sign doing here? And I think maybe the same thing. And then we were all had an internal argument of like, how far is too far? Because that just seems a little
That seems a little
ridiculous
far.
to assume someone's going to drive that distance. So I think maybe too, Andrew, you're assuming
That's wild.
like most times I feel like people are in like a 15-minute bubble. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to take
especially for
longer than that.
living.
I'm out.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
would be like I think it'd be a great way if it was I mean, I'm sure they're selling lots and maybe they don't even actually need to actually push sales too much in this community. It seems like a really good location. Just not the area that we live in. But for like a day trip, like things to do with your kiddos, like an hour is very reasonable. And then what I think would be great is like you look past like the lagoon, you're like, oh, for sale, model home, sales center.
Mm.
This could be like not a day trip, but like let's get on the golf cart and go 3 minutes down the road in the neighborhood. The kids could actually get on the golf cart drive here. Oh, look, there's 3 food trucks here 7 days a week. Huh, this could be our life versus like where we are like in the county, which is like super crowded and like the kids can't go outside unless you're living in certain neighborhoods as far as just the busyness of the streets and everything. So it'd be like an easy way to push new buyers, but actually not talking about selling homes, just talking
So is
about
it an
the
Airbnb? Is that what you're
uh,
doing? Like you're
so we're
renting?
staying at Airbnb like on the river, which is like west of that. But this is like a big master plan community. It's called Epperson, and it has the big Crystal Lagoon, which is a
For the
man-made.
day pass
Yeah,
situation.
it's a day pass thing. It's like about $200 in day passes. But it has like the giant floating obstacle course. We
Yeah.
rented a aqua cabana or aquabana that fits 12 people. They bring food out to you. Like it's like a resort essentially. It sounds like it,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
wanna
a
live
neighborhood.
there.
I would be interested if I lived there, if like, does your HOA go fluctuate and go down if enough
That's
guests
from
show
what I
up?
understand that they put that as a budget in there and in their
Cool.
HOA budget. So then it does reduce their fee,
I love that.
what your HOA fee would be. So I'm
So
sure at
you're
times
kind
you're
of
like,
doing the influencer where you're like, I want more people to come to this because I want to pay
you
less
think,
for this.
yeah, especially if they've been under budget, but there's actually 3 in our area, which is crazy, like within half an hour.
Hmm.
So they must be working, or it's
Yeah,
like a
that's
great
pretty cool.
amenity. I know some builders we have in Texas, they have the same product. Metro Lagoons is a developer and put it in their community as well.
Yeah,
Well, I want to
so-
hear your
yeah.
experience.
I
when
will
you come back.
post some videos and content of it.
Yeah, I wanna
as
see
long
it.
as there's no weird drone rules or anything where they don't want us doing that. But from what I've seen, they should cooperate.
Yeah.
It is
Ask
Friday.
for
Who cares?
forgiveness, not permission.
That's true.
Yeah.
No one knows the laws on those things, right?
Like I looked it up. Just kidding. And then just run
I
it.
looked up. It's not for commercial purposes, so there we go.
Yeah.
It's
Your own
much more
your own
flexible.
secret.
Sweet. Well, let's get started. Welcome to episode 347. I'm Andrew Peak, and with me today is Julie Jarnagin and Jackie Lipinski.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you didn't say you're the ad doctor.
Oh, I'm the ad doctor. Most days I'm the ad doctor. Some days I'm just old Andrew.
We
Brain, your brain's on vacation.
brains
My
on
brain's on
vacation.
vacation. Tomorrow
There
I'll be on
was
vacation.
There was a funny, my husband and I gave each other a nickname a few years ago. And then I'm working with a team member on our team and she's sending me proofs for things. And I keep like catching really weird little not errors, but just like, oh, this could be tweaked. Like, and so we joked, but because I had LASIK a few years back, my husband and I call each other sometimes laser eye Lipinski. And so we were joking, we're like, oh, Jackie laser eye is Lipinski. I was like, that's fitting. I should like lean into that, but also really weird superhero, like lean in for that nickname. Please don't actually call me that. I'm going to take that back.
Yeah, someone make a shirt, please, or like a caricature. That'd be great.
That caricature. I would love that. We'll get Jade on it.
Let's go. There we go. Well, who's up first? Story time. I just talked a little bit, so how about?
Yeah, I'll
Julie?
go. I think as long as you've been in marketing long enough in home building, you're gonna face an unhappy homeowner on social media complaining about your company. It's just like, I think it's a rite of passage that you have an uproar about something. So somebody was talking about an issue they had the other day, which made me think of some stuff we had. One time we had we needed to put a parking lot in, and it wasn't in the original plat, but we needed it for the park, or there were soccer fields. I don't remember, but they threw such a fit, and they were accusing us that there were going to be like drug deals going down in this parking lot near their, and they called the news. It was a whole thing.
Quite the parking lot.
So it was a big deal. Once we had another one sorry, there is a point to this story, but another one we had is they cleared some land, and apparently there were a lot of rats in that, like the brush. And so when they cleared it, rats moved into the neighborhood, and there would be like rats in the street. So that was a fun one to have to deal with in marketing, the rat infestation of the entire neighborhood from the ground being cleared. But anyway, so I was just thinking about kind of the steps, and the marketer I was talking about, she was very calm about it, which I was impressed, because we have some marketers who like panic, like it gets posted and they're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? She was very calm, so she's probably faced it before. So that's one thing. Be calm. Number two, communicate with the other departments that it's involving. I think I've had that in the past. You just want to instantly apologize on social media, and we're so sorry, we'll have somebody take care of it, but you don't know the whole rest of the story yet. So I would say before you respond, first make sure you talk to customer care, or whoever it is that knows what's going on, and get more information, because otherwise you might respond in a way that's not in line with what they've been telling people. So I would say make sure you do that. Try to take it offline. Yes. Number one, like as soon as you can get it off of social media and say, hey, we're going to have somebody reach out, check your messages. So-and-so will call you, whatever it is, try to take it offline as quickly as you can. And then she was doing something interesting that I hadn't thought of. They kind of took off all of their social media organic posts that they had planned for the week and replaced them with a ton of testimonials that week. And they had some testimonials that were directly like, we ran into some problems in our home building and they were great, and they came back and they took care of us. It was like into direct contrast, which is what they were doing for this homeowner too, who was upset. They were going and they were taking care of it. So just to make sure there wasn't any like residual from that, they were going in and kind of shifting their organic messaging to be like, look how great we take care of people. We listen, we go out, you're taking care of, that kind of thing, which I thought was smart. So do y'all have anything else you tell people when they run into kind of PR issues that make its way online?
I mean, I think the biggest one is always take it offline. I've seen some people where they're like, oh no, I've talked to your customer service, I want to stay here. But sometimes it's also who it's coming from. So if customer service, now it's kind of been through there. Robert on our team, that one of the owners of my old builder company, he would call them, and so it's sometimes if you're like, oh, the owner of the company called me, you're just like, oh, okay, I did make an impact. So also you're saying, yeah, you feel heard and acknowledged. We even had my most unique story was a second time home buyer. We didn't even sell them the home, put up photos of nail pops on Yelp and was like, worst builder I've ever worked with. You didn't work with us. Look at all these things. Warranty won't handle it, because they thought the warranty like transferred over years, and it didn't, and they had been there for, again, multiple years. And so, but he got so loud that we went, what's it going to cost us to just fix these nail pops? And we did that, and we did the right thing, which, sometimes might be, okay, we just have to be annoying to get what you want. But sometimes it's just, you want to be there for the customer. So just that, what's the financial burden of helping those people? Like sometimes it's just do the right thing. And so we did that, and then made sure to acknowledge on social posts, like, so happy we were able to work with you to, to fix this issue, and just make sure people saw that we acknowledge the issue. And that's the thing too, take it offline, but also letting those other people who've had bad experience or who are going to be the bad reviewer see that you're going to respond. And ideally you want them to reach out earlier before they hit that is always the goal too. So I know some people do reviews early on where they try to like capture those bad experiences and see how they can filter them before they get to Yelp or another.
Yeah. I think you nailed them all. The last one, just to say it a different way, is no canned responses. I think we all see that. And like, depending on your age, I feel like your like BS-o-meter would be like,
Yeah.
you just copy and pasted that. Like, come on, like, I don't care. Someone else will be like, that's really nice. And everyone else is like, that's like, they copied that from like a month ago. What do you mean?
Yep.
So no, I think no canned responses whatsoever. Then yeah, Jackie, I'm 100% on board with you. Like, how much did that cost versus the stress and distraction to the team? Like, it probably wasn't much. And then like, especially like the price point y'all built in.
Oh
like,
yeah.
All right. Let's say that cost $3,000 to fix, which is probably that's very excessive. But like, say it was $3,000. Like, well, it's probably worth it for the reputation that like your type of builder needs to maintain. So
we were hyper local, and we leaned into the like, we live here too. I really love when builders do like the we live here too kind of campaigns. Like, we are here, we are local, we're going to see you at the grocery store. So we don't want to make this uncomfortable. So making sure those long relationships are built to last, I think, is also valuable. So, and that kind of goes into my story time.
Well, that's beautiful.
So someone's going to be like, how does this relate? I'm having family visiting in from Chicagoland, and there's nothing like a good family visit that makes you panic clean your house. Mm-hmm. Just straight up
stress
panic.
relief.
Yeah.
I was joking with Bryce. I was like, these baseboards, like I've never
That's what I was about to say. That's when you dust your baseboards.
Yeah. Like I was like, I think I'm just going to paint over that section. Mm-hmm. But it reminded me of, I got a recommendation from Mark not too long ago. He knows who he is. And he recommended this book called Alchemy by Rory Sutherland. Okay. It's a marketing book. It's very interesting. I really enjoyed it. And the reader, it was a good audiobook. But in it kind of related because it talks about, how do you save, I think it was like 40 grand. It's you spend $150 basically to get your car detailed. So if you're disappointed in your vehicle and you're thinking about getting a new car, the easiest way to save money is to get your car just completely cleaned, because psychologically it positively impacts your satisfaction levels with your vehicle. And as I'm cleaning my house, I'm having the same thing where I'm like, oh, I feel better about my house. I feel like it just, like there's just like, you're a little more proud of it. And I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be interesting is if a lot of things happen really quickly in the home building market, and then we're kind of like, all right, bye. And we'll never see you again. And obviously that can improve like relationships and how you are. But, if you have a 1-year warranty walkthrough, part of me was like, oh, I wonder if there is a builder out there who can hack that too, where it's like, oh, and then within the month before your warranty walkthrough, like we're going to get you have a coupon to get your house deep cleaned. That way their satisfaction level with you is like through the roof, and they're not thinking of all the things that went bad. They're thinking, oh, now I can breathe, and like the things aren't piled up and my baseboards are clean, or like certain things like that. So that was kind of my takeaway, to like hack the system of psychological, like feeling proud of your house again, especially at the 1-year mark, and just making, like if reviews come in about that time, like I think people would really enjoy that experience and like a pleasant surprise. And then if you do any follow-up, they're just going to think of you positively. Obviously you'll have to vet those people, but I'm like, oh, I've never heard that, but that could be an interesting addition to the home builder.
just to make sure I'm understanding it, you're saying like, okay, let's say the 1-year warranty typically has 10 things on it at
Mhm.
X cost. If the month before you spend $150, instead of 10 things, it's now down to 7 things at a lower cost than the 150. Is that what you're almost implying?
More like they're like getting stressed out for the one appointment, and they're just like they're like setting themselves up for like disappointment. But we're gonna bring them up here before like kind of having them like accept dissatisfaction with their house. So we're like raising them up to the more
Gotcha.
satisfied level of like, oh no, I do really love my house, and I love my house more when it's clean. And there are some little stuffs or things that might need to be done, but like this builder takes care of me, and I feel good. So just kind of more of that thought process is if at a time when there's disappointment or a dip in emotional journey, like how do we raise that up? And
it's funny. I just saw like formulas going in my head with like, this is like our brains are different.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. I'm like, okay, if like 1-year warranty typically cost $800 to fix.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's get that to $500 by spending $150 or whatever may be. Jackie, you're like, well, make them happier, which maybe the net result is actually the same.
Yeah.
Like it's very similar. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Don't buy the
And
new
it
car.
seems
Just spend
like-
money cleaning it.
It seems like there would be a cleaning service who would want to do that, because what a better way to get introduced to new customers, you know,
like
the people who've just built a new house in the last year. Sounds like a good way to.
And that's what it is
houses.
too.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust with home cleaners. Like I'm taking tomorrow off to power clean my house, is because I don't trust a house cleaner. So, but if they've already been in my house and someone else has vetted them at a high level, like I would feel more comfortable also bringing up my satisfaction to regularly hire those people. So yeah, it could be a good opportunity in a weird way for also branching out to those companies.
I agree. I think it's worth experimenting with at the very least. But yeah, that sounds perfect. Let's see. My story is similar, I suppose. It stemmed from just say interest in SEO for me. So when I get into something, for those watching on YouTube, which is for y'all, shout out to you guys. Got the camera right here. I felt uncomfortable. This is like my own problems, like insecurities, whatever word. I don't want to talk about something unless I've done it myself. So if I were to talk about video content, like I want to actually have a camera, have to go through the lenses, edit and make a bunch of videos, be like, okay, cool. Like I feel fluent enough. Maybe it's like imposter syndrome in reverse.
We don't want to be
like,
liars. Yeah. Like
I feel like that. Like I can't talk about this on the, so like SEO, like I did SEO way back in the day, and then it went away because like paid ads take over. And I'm like, okay, you know, I want to be more fluent in SEO and have some more confidence. So let me kind of dabble in it and like get more experience. So as I'm doing that, like just kind of opportunities come up to look into it further. So this is tied in with like reputation management and reviews. So first point is ranking for, say, Peak Home Builders reviews or Lipinski Homes reviews. Super easy. Oh my goodness. Like as far as like the competition, you run it through the tools, you look at like your domain versus other domains, like all these technical things. There's no reason your page, peakhomebuilders.com/reviews, like it should be 1, 2, or 3, like very, very easy.
Yeah.
And then along with that, like if everyone listening, like, hey, I want to get better SEO, like just start somewhere, and you'll quickly realize like, man, there's a lot of easy, like low hanging opportunity just to like do it, like do something, and you'll make an impact. Like, it's not like, hey, I have to spend 20, 30 hours on a project, but like, oh, like our meta titles are actually really terrible for that page, like way below average. Let's give it like a rating. It's a C-. Going from a C- to a B+ with that, not much time, like spend a couple hours on a Friday or like throughout the month, you're good to go.
One of the things I remember I did when I first went into my builder is it was like the Rosario plan on YouTube. I was like, the Rosario plan in Renton, Washington. Yeah. You know, like you just add
easy
some
context
like and then it shows up easier. Like there's certain, So anyway, sorry, Andrew, keep going.
No, that's perfect. That's real. That's like the example of like, oh, you want to rank for this keyword? Let's look at the page. It doesn't say that at all on the page. Like anywhere. Like, what are we doing here? Or like you look at like the meta titles as far as like which listing would you click on organic? this one or this one? Oh, well, the other people, like being honest, like, well, just fix yours a little bit. You'll get your organic traffic will creep up. So SEO, I think everyone listening can like do a lot of it on their own if their site supports like you adjusting things on your own. Combine that with reviews. If you have a concern with reviews, and say maybe Yelp is strong, of course. But like if you don't have a page, that gives you a chance to counteract that. You could run ads against it, like your name plus reviews. You'll rank for that, and Google will want to show the ads. And all that is kind of tied into the big word reputation management, which was like, remember content marketing? I know that I'm like, what is that word? But that was like kind of a buzzy word a long time ago. And now it's just like assumed. Like reputation management, I think, was a kind of buzzy word for a bit. Now it's in the category of like, well, you kind of have to do this. Like it just is part of marketing. So I'd say research those if you're interested in it. And you'll very easily find opportunity that you could just take advantage of, which means exciking. Like if things are awful, like make them better real quick.
And one thing we did, Andrew and I were on a builder call. We're getting a lot more questions about like, will AI search and what does that look like and how do things search that? And so, just going into ChatGPT, I was like, what do people think about peak home builders? Or like, do we like, and then it'll tell you the sources too. And you can see, well, where are these sources being pulled? And to make sure you can also, instead of focusing on 30 different review sites, like what is being pulled and what are the resources and how can you focus your energy? Like we're saying Yelp is strong, but you've been getting 1,000 reviews on a different website. And that's like at the bottom of the page. Yeah. Like, how can we redirect those people to your Yelp page or Google My Business page? Because I had another builder who didn't like their Google My Business page. So what'd they do, Andrew?
Oh no.
They took it down.
Oh, well.
Bad step.
That's one way. That's one way to do it.
That's not a good step. You can't run away from bad review. Like you have to, like Julie was saying, they're still there. You have to counteract them and you have to create a strategy around reputation management. You're right, Andrew.
Yeah. When y'all say Yelp is strong, you mean organically?
Organic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't feel like a lot of people go to Yelp to find somebody
but it's usually
review, but yes, organically, yes, so that you could be on top of Yelp. And it seems like people struggle with Yelp more because that seems to be where unhappy people
for sure
go.
Yeah.
It's like the stigma.
If they're mad, that's where they go complain. So yeah, if you can organically get on top of that, for sure. I mean, and it can direct back to your testimonials page. I mean, you don't have to, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
And also with all the SEO, look at I can't believe that people still struggle so much with URL structure. Just URL structure matters for so many reasons, for so many things. As you're building, changing your website, pay extra attention to that because it causes all kinds of problems.
And those things would be, and this, take this positively with opportunity. If you're looking at SEO and learning it, say from Moz, Rand Fishkin, it'd be like in the 101 beginner section. As far as like understanding and implementing is the challenge, especially if you're a big builder. You can't just go and change 500 links. That'd be chaos, right? But like as far as that whole realm of URL structure and those really basic technical things, like that, it should be like, hey, these are like it leans more towards basic things that we should understand. Just want to throw that out there. Another one about lasting reviews is Reddit is like almost king now. I feel like I just typed in 3 different builders while we were chatting there. The Builder, Consumer Affairs or BBB, Yelp, and Reddit. It's like Reddit is up there. Reddit's hard. I don't know what to do with Reddit.
Search Reddit.
I Google things, Reddit, if I can't find the answer to something anymore, because sometimes it has a more recent chain of information than anywhere else. So
and it's so thorough. Like I know it's user generated content. Which
you have to take it with a grain of salt.
But it's all real, and then it's upvoted as far as like if I post on there and it's something really dumb, like it's gonna get downvoted. But if Jackie posts and like, hey, what Jackie posted was really valuable, it'll get the votes going up. So all of a sudden, after years of that, like so this one says, anyone have experience with blank homes? And there's like 20 pages that's gonna pull up. But then you could see it like, oh, this one had 432 upvotes. So 432 people approved of what Jackie didn't write that one, but like if that was the Jackie,
Maybe.
and mine was terrible and it got pushed down to the bottom. So over time, like the quality of those pages increases. The only way to game that is to actually like take the review seriously and change processes. And that's a challenge because I mean, your spreadsheet comes in play. There's a cost for everything.
Yeah. Hire a house.
Can't just fix it.
Well, I remember I had when we were like looking into SEO, I think we were paying like $3,500 a month for an SEO specialist. And they're like, okay, we're going to do like pictures of your house and put it under room. I don't want to say the word online, but just
say room inspo.
Room inspo.
I know what word you're saying.
Yep. And everyone's probably giggling who's listening to this. And
saying Jackie, say it.
Yeah, Jackie, say it. But I think a better strategy there is like interject yourself, like be the builder on Reddit.
Yep.
Like be true, but again, it's also most companies do not have the time for this. So take it with a grain of salt. You can also do Google alerts for your builder name. That I would say is very valuable. Every time American Classic Homes would pop up somewhere, I'd get an email and then I could like look at that news article or however we are mentioned. Yeah. I think it works for Reddit, but worth diving into too. I think it might be news stories. But yeah, that is what people are reading. Remember, we can try to control the narrative, but you can't keep everything in there. So you have to be real. And I think that's what even Julie, you're saying, are like, be human, have emotions, try to take things off what you can, but also you cannot just run away from bad reviews. Like they're gonna happen. I would actually be more suspicious if you only had 5-star reviews.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Especially as a builder. I mean,
well, I watched this
has to happen.
I watched this really funny video where it was like the best coffee reviews are coffee shops with 2 stars because something upset them, but the coffee was good enough to give them 2 stars. So like 2 stars are where real reviews live.
That's funny. That's good thinking. Well, let's go on to the news. This first one is from our very own Beth Russell. And she says attribution is we could censor that out.
Well, it's
Megan,
not actually. If you've read the article, Andrew.
You read it. Oh, shoot. I know, but
it stands for
Beth made me say it.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, everyone listening. I didn't say a word, but you said words. It can stand for business sabotage if you think too, I guess, linear or literal with what creates sales. And I know I have a piece coming out next week as like part 2 of the unintended consequences and understanding the gray of attribution. And then Julie kind of like hits it home with the takeaways that we want to make sure people get. But the goal of this isn't to go viral or go crazy. It is a tool for you to understand and digest why attribution isn't what it used to be regarding, like A, which is the ad, plus B, which is the traffic, doesn't always equal C. There are a lot of factors. And I don't know if Julie, you have anything else, and we did send it to you, but I think Beth gives some really good, like, if this and that scenarios to kind of help understand with math of like the missing variables. And I always liked, I think Becca Thomas on our team, like 2 years ago, wrote a really great piece regarding like attribution being like the Mississippi River and understanding like attribution and how everything comes in. And I kind of wrote that on LinkedIn the other day of just, we have to understand things are not clear. It's like murky water. And we have to understand that sometimes it'll become business sabotage if we over index on one thing saying it's the single source of truth. So I think we joked.
I think the timing on this is really good too, because what we hear, you get in a market like this, that's a little more challenging because it's the summer and interest rates are high. And, there's multiple things making things a little more of a challenge. So sometimes then we have leadership coming to marketing being like, I want to dig deeper. I want to see exactly what conversions are coming from Facebook. Well, if you're only looking at that and not looking at the bigger picture, that's more an awareness channel and that those people are often coming through organic. If you don't look at the whole bigger picture of that, then that data can potentially make you make bad decisions. So basically, we're just going through and saying, when you're looking at this, what's the bigger picture and the context to look at? When you're speaking to leadership, when you're making decisions, we will always look at what the conversions are, all those things, but you can't just get so focused on certain numbers without the bigger picture that, it'll throw you off. So she gave some really good examples of here are the different things to consider whenever you're looking at that data.
Yeah. And I think you'd hit the nail on the head there, Julie, regarding, newer marketers, they don't know how to explain it. And so we're also helping them be able to explain it. And so, we've had some, I wouldn't say horror stories, but educational experiences, let's call it, from builders.
That's more pleasant.
That's more pleasant. From builders who have said, I trust my data. I don't think this is driving enough traffic. And we had a builder a few years back turned off all their meta. And then the unintended consequence of that was their direct and organic traffic tanked. But what we did see is when they did eventually turn it back on, most of those numbers came back within 30 days. So like Julie said, it is awareness. We are making people aware of where we are building, and there are consequences unseen of the actions that happen. And that's really hard to explain sometimes. And it's kind of like a trust me, I know what I'm doing marketing strategy, but people like raw data. And that's what my section, I know I'll talk about, is like, it's gray. It's not black and white. We would love to live in the black and white, but life is not black and white. And so, and just understanding over-indexing or overvaluing or undervaluing can be detrimental or at times. I don't know if there's anything else, Andrew, you wanted to.
Yeah, I think starting at the end of the funnel, which some people are like, don't use the funnel, it's a flywheel. Don't use a flywheel, it's a pyramid. I don't know. Like whatever shape you want to do, but like starting at the sale and going backwards, like, okay, what's our cost per sale? Then go from there. What's our cost per appointment? Then our cost per lead, and then our cost per click, and then kind of go in there, because it's easiest to manipulate everything on the front end. Like, hey, we jumped our conversion rate up. Well, you added in landing pages to everything. Yeah. Cool. Your cost per lead went down. So as you get farther from the sale and you start at like the beginning, those are easy things to manipulate. And so that's where, just saying this another way that Jackie and Julie said it, like you can manipulate the numbers unintentionally. Like your behavior might change because like, hey, I'm having someone like breathe down my neck about our cost per lead on Meta is $800, or I'm just making a number up, $400, $200, whatever it is. So I'm going to change my whole strategy so I don't have that hard conversation anymore because they want the cost per lead to go down. Well, all of a sudden you do that, you get more leads, cost per lead is down. Now your cost per appointment is up because they're lower quality leads. There's less appointments. Now your cost per sale is up.
And you're wasting the time of your online sales team.
You just shifted everything over. So that's like the unintended consequences, but it is really nuanced. You have to understand attribution models, explaining to someone, especially if you're newer in the role, or even if you've been in the role for a while and you're just not as confident with it, that it is very tough. Like this, it's a hard conversation. I always said attribution is a 4-letter word. Like it's a very hard thing, but looking at the cost per sale, cost per appointment, those are real things, real people, real things that happen in real life. I like those as far as like, hey, those actually happen. Those are truthful. Like, let's track that. And then the fun part, you see interest rates like, oh man, like this is really changing my cost per everything. The interest rate, nothing to do with marketing. Like there's so many variables, A plus B equals C,
and that's the problem
not with
too.
us.
If someone's like looking at a microscope and they're like, okay, our cost per lead's up. It's like, yes, there are less people in the market who can afford homes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That makes sense. But
how do we get down?
How do we get it down? I don't know. You drop your house price $200K? Like probably not. Like this is just your new number. And that doesn't feel good, but that is something that needs to be explained. Like this is our number now. Like here are some ways we can impact that. But you're right. Like Andrew, we joke about anyone who's doing this, who's listening, please learn. PMAX campaigns suck. We hate PMAX campaigns at this moment because they look good on paper, but the quality has not been there for builder partners. And so again, it's over indexing of something that looks good hypothetically, but it's going to waste time. And without zooming out for the bigger picture, like you were saying, Andrew, I think it can really create more sabotage within your company and really gray up your own data as if attribution data wasn't gray enough. So
agreed. Quick little tease on PMAX. I am working on something for PMAX so we all understand it better. It is so complicated, and the people that have had results, they're actually not looking at the data accurately. There's so many places for Google to manipulate it, or publishers, people who have ads on their site to manipulate campaigns to get more traffic on their website. And that's why it's not great for lead gen. For e-commerce, like you sold something or didn't sell anything, it's easy to prove. Like I have friends that are outside the industry, they're running $2, $3, $4, $5, $10,000 a day PMAX campaigns, but they're in e-commerce. Totally different. There's an outcome. They spend 10 grand, they sell 80,000 in product. Cool. Attribution for them is not a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
It works well because they turn the ads on, they make a sale that day or the next day. With us, someone becomes a lead today, they buy in 2025, maybe. So it's much more complicated, but we'll have some resources on PMAX campaigns because I know everyone's really curious about it. All the Google reps want to push it. You see it all over the place.
Because
it's been a few years.
Yeah, it looks like a magic wand. It really does. So,
and who doesn't want a magic wand? Photoshop even has the tool called the magic wand, I think, in there, like to select things. So everyone wants the magic wand. Oh man, we're talking about cookies next.
Yep.
You made me all hungry. Oh my goodness.
No, I need
Let's go with cookies. This one, I'm not sure, was it from Yahoo Finance or they just pushed it out? Maybe it was Ad Age. It was all over the place, but Google to keep cookies in Chrome after advertiser pushback. This is taking out on this one. We kind of expected this a little bit, right? It's such a change. And then for them to push it back, not at their own, it was, I forgot the regulatory over in the UK had delays. UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, they need more time. So that was a big reason.
Well, I even think this was supposed to have launch in 2022. So
yeah,
it is just going. It's not. I think again, it's not as easy as people think, and I think Google's also realizing they're losing money because it's not as efficient way of marketing. So they're like, we'd like to keep our $1 million a day, please. So
definitely, and there just needs more time to like test like all the current. You know, if you think about like the big advertisers spending hundreds of millions, like they have their tool sets. Google takes what they need very seriously, and everyone wants more time. Really, everyone wants no change is probably what's going on, but people need more time to solve things, especially as the different regulatory agencies change what they're wanting. Everyone has to then adapt. So it's not this quick process for sure. It's also not a super exciting topic either, but it's a necessary. It does affect us. It does affect us once it does change, but
I think what's nice is that it actually doesn't really affect anything versus I think the big change would have ruffled so many feathers and made as if attribution isn't gray, it'd somehow become murkier to say like this created this. So they're trying to keep clarity with, look, we did do a good job. And that's what they're trying to keep as well. Yeah.
It's not this Yahoo Finance article. It was another article, but I was laughing. It kept talking about keeping the internet free, which if you boil it down to it, you do have to think of the fact that ads are the reason why a lot of these websites and there's content on these websites and you don't pay for them. I mean, I don't think we're to that point where if third-party cookies went away, then all of a sudden the internet wouldn't be like web pages would all have paywalls on them. I don't think it would happen exactly like that. But it is a good point to think about is that the reason all these are free is because of how sophisticated some of this tracking in and how personalized some of these ads can get. So it does more than just throw off, some people who want privacy. It messes up the whole system, of how all these things work.
The dynamic of the internet would be shifted.
It has big consequences if it all of a sudden
consequences.
Yes, more unintended consequences if all of a sudden that sophisticated system of who gets what ads was just gone. So it has to be figured out first.
Yeah, it's its own economy as far as like
that's a good way to put it.
And tracking. Like if take that away, like all right, cool, that will cost 150,000 jobs. Like overworked. Oh, that sounds really dark. Depressing. Well, let's go to something more exciting from Bloomberg. Homebuyer FOMO starts to pump up Canada's real estate market. Lower rates help spur more sales, higher prices in June. When the tide turns, it will turn fast. It's like a haiku or something.
Yeah. So I think the biggest takeaway here is this is potentially what can happen in the United States if we also saw this. So first-time homebuyers coming back, a spur in the market, people getting excited again, people feeling, like there's some movement. So I think it's just a good peek into what potentially could be the future if something did happen. I don't know if Julie or Andrew, you had another take on it.
Yeah, so it could swing quickly because that's what happened there when rates started going down, things picked up really fast. So that's one thing. It could swing the needle because there's so many people on the fence right now. So if something happened, but that's not all roses and good news, because then what we've seen there also is then prices instantly go up because demand has gone up. So it's not just, well, I can't wait till rates go down. Everything's not going to be perfect when that happens, because then that causes other things. So I think just keeping an eye on Canada, because this may be what we see later on down the road.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. I think people are like there'll be a few, maybe a month, maybe a week, who knows, where you'll have like this perfect storm scenario of prices are here. Let's say the house is 700, then rates are climbing down, and it's before demand really pushes things up. You might have this window where people are like, hey, I got a deal. I got the house at this and I got my rate down here.
Yep.
A month later, that house that was 650 is now 700 because there's so much demand. So there might be like a little bit of like this perfection where you get like really lucky trying to quote time the market. But essentially, I mean, I still think if rates, if they're going to come down, like come down nice and soft. Otherwise, people flood, prices will go up, and we'll just be like this.
Yeah.
We'll be doing the same thing. Yeah, it's supply and demand. It's not super complicated. How rates stayed, I mean, economics is added to a list of like going SEO, then economics and all this. Like rates probably stayed way too low during the pandemic for too long. I think looking back, maybe people
I got
like,
a good house price, so I'm not.
I know, like there's people
That
that
little bubble.
definitely won. Like
Yeah.
if you're in the 2s for your mortgage now, or like 3s, like everyone's like, that's an asset. Like that's super cheap money. Like, and you're like, so you got lucky, but like maybe they stayed down too low.
Yeah, I like the memes online about the people who are in their houses forever. Now they're like,
never leaving.
Never leaving.
I think they just need a really deep house cleaning. I think that would help.
They do. 40 grand, $150. That's all it is.
$150, right?
But you better trust that. You better trust that cleaner. If not, you'll be taken off the day to clean your house. You enjoy cleaning, I think, probably, Jackie, to some extent.
It's Claire's birthday party is this weekend, so it's not just cleaning; it's like party prepping, setting up table.
There we go. Well, that sounds like the fun part, getting the party stuff ready. Sweet. Last one here. Ooh, this has a big B word in it. Why you should be focusing on brand marketing right now. Discover why brand marketing is making a comeback in SEO space and how it can yield better results for your digital presence. This one's from Search Engine Journal. Brand. I think we have to define brand whenever we talk about this. What even is brand? Is it Chick-fil-A like my pleasure? Like everyone is so nice? Is it them saying my pleasure? Or you go to Chick-fil-A, hopefully everyone listening has been Chick-fil-A. I'm sure you have. Like, the experience is going to be positive compared to McDonald's, compared to Burger King, compared to Taco Bell. You're like, they don't hate me there. That's all I'm asking for. I don't want them to hate me. I just want to order some food and not feel like they might like assault me or something. Like, that's why I go to Chick-fil-A.
I think
that's brand,
right.
maybe.
Yeah, I think it's the expectations to expect from how you've interacted with the company.
That's better.
Is how it can be taken. I mean, like, at Do You Convert, our brand is, putting the builders first. That goes in the heart of everything we do. McDonald's, the food's going to be consistent. The experience might be.
Coke is legit, right?
But the fountain Coke,
Coca-Cola.
But, I think it goes along with when we talk about, the difference even between Meta ads versus Google ads. Meta ads are to create awareness, and that is where brand exists. Brands exist to create an awareness and inform people about you. And home builders were different. We're different because it's the product people want more than usually the brand first. So we have to let them know, you want a home at this point, at this price, at this location, at this area. And also we're trustworthy. And so building that story is important. And I think getting everyone on the same page of, and I was talking to another builder actually this week because they're having problems with that. And I was like, well, do you even understand who you are? I was like, what is your vision? What is your brand? What are your, that's what I love Garmin Homes. I think Elena just put up an Instagram story today where it's just like pictures of inspirational people on the wall and then like signs on the floor because they're like things happen or it was like, you have a good day or like you matter. And it's just because like we care about people, is what they're always trying to say. So making sure, I think by branding, it's obvious and that everyone at your company embodies that. and then figuring out ways to get that out in the world. Like you're saying, Julie, like, yeah, we had bad review, but a lot of times people have bad experiences, but we make it right. And I think that's what people know is like, stuff's going to happen, but we will make it right. And so their brand is building up that trust too in sticky situations. So I don't know if.
Yeah. And what do
else?
people think about you when they think of your brand? When they hear the name of your company, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah.
So I think in Slack, we were talking about a lot of times people think branding, they think colors and logos and rebranding but it's a lot more than that. It's what people think of automatically when they hear your name.
Yeah. Those are like the reminders of the experience, which is good. I think, Jackie, I think your definition, I like that the most. Like it's the expectation.
Yeah.
Like you go to, for example, there's 2 Targets within like 10 minutes from me, that way and this way. The one that's south of me is Target to me. Like it's go in, it's nice, it's pleasant. It's not like
Starbucks in it.
There's a Starbucks in there. It's not overwhelming. It feels clean and organized. It's great. You go to the other one, 10 minutes other direction. There's 2 security people up front.
Yeah.
That's weird. And like the area isn't like an area you'd kind of expect that. So you're like, that's kind of off. Like that, what's going on there? So 2 security up front. The carts are like usually a little bit more disorganized. Like it's just like a little bit different. It's like, is this like the end of the world or something? Like during COVID pandemic, like things just felt different. It's hard to like name it like this, but like you go to like the meat department area and you're like, ooh, there's stuff missing. And that just felt off. Like it was just, and so that Target versus this Target, that one's on brand. The other one, like the expectations are definitely not like meeting what in my mind is Target. So it's Starbucks too. Like it should taste this way. It should be made this way. They'll ask me, they'll be nice to me. Like that's the brand. You go to Dunkin'. Based on my experience, like it's just inconsistent most of the time. So that's
my husband
my
was just
expectation.
in Vegas, and I was like, "What'd you get for breakfast?" He's like, "Starbucks." I was like, "In Vegas, they have great buffets." He's like, "I don't know, I can trust it."
You can trust
it's
it.
because again, he trusts the brand, but he was like, "I paid $17."
It's consistent. It's reliable. So and that's in his mind. So it's like what we want to say as a company. Then we have our things that remind people of that, but also each person has their own version of who you are, I suppose.
I think the buy-in from the team is where it always needs to start. But in terms of marketing, like how does that point get across? And how do we make sure it's consistent? And again, sometimes you have to let them fall in love with your product, and then you suck them in with the best parts of you. But if they're not going to fall in love with you and then like buy a house, we are like almost on the opposite side. That's why when people compare us to e-commerce, like we're talking about, like we are a different world than so many other companies. And that's why attribute certain things just don't work for us. And being brand forward is great, but also understanding that brand is almost secondary for price, product, location, and what, like where we're building. And
they can't experience your brand if all those things are off.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no chance. That was a fun one. I like that brand conversation. Usually we kind of stray away from things like that, but that is good. Well, let's go into our current favorites and hates. I have 2.
Oh, go.
One favorite, one hate. Want me to go first? I'll go first. My current favorite is the Ninja Creamy. Have y'all seen that? I've talked about it before.
I don't have one, but yes.
What?
Yeah, Julie, you probably like, you do jujitsu. Probably people there talk about like, if you're doing any type of like sport like that, where people are more concerned about what they eat and got to hit my protein goals, whatever, like Ninja Creamies are super popular. So here's what I'm doing and why I think it's great. You could take a protein shake, throw it in a little thing, add, if you like almond milk, add almond milk. If you like, Fairlife milk, add that. Whatever you want to do. You're just making your own ice cream. It's not complicated, but I have 6 little containers now. So I could do 6 creamies. So that's 6 protein shakes, which is like no calories, right? If you're trying to watch your calories, like let's say you are, and then you add in whatever you want to it, you freeze it. Now it's time to make your ice cream at night. It's 11:15 at night. You want your ice cream. The kids are asleep. You'll wake them up with the creamy. So it's really, really loud, but it makes the texture is really nice. And it is like ice cream, but it's what you want in it. So if you want it to be 200 calories and it's a lot, like it's crazy. It like fluffs it up. So it's super cool. I like it. I'm back to using it now. And then my hate is Sonos, Sonos.
Oh.
They make speakers.
Yeah.
A lot of people have them. They're a little bit more on the premium end. So again, brand expectations. They work great. But if you Google it, The CEO just emailed today. There's all these issues with the app, and it's been going on since May. So like if you use it frequently versus just like, hey lady, Alexa, play this, and it just plays it. Cool. It usually works okay. But for us, we like make changes all the time to it, and it's just so inconsistent. It's like it's not even usable for the most part. Like, let's rebuild. Nope. Sign in as the owner. I am the owner. What do you mean? Like, it's a terrible experience now. They're just getting beat up online, rightfully so. So
and it's funny because their product isn't even. That's not. I mean, it is an extension of their product.
The app isn't them.
People had a good experience with their speakers. It doesn't matter if it's not usable.
Yeah, they're Wi-Fi speakers essentially. So you could plug them anywhere. It doesn't use Bluetooth, and so they're a little bit more customizable. What you could do, you could have different rooms. Like they're super cool, and they're like this. They're on the expensive end. So like one speaker is like $400. So it should be perfect, right? So the app is terrible. The product is amazing, but the app is like we're falling on the sword of our own app. Like, when the world, it's off brand. So that's my favorites and hates. I'll eat my ice cream and be really sad about my speakers. It'll be okay.
Well, it's on brand. I would say there's not a lot of Amazon Fresh stores. So this is not a relatable story to everyone else. But the thing about Amazon Fresh is you walk in, you scan your phone or your palm now, grab whatever you want, and you just walk out of the store. And gotta tell you, with kids,
you like it? Yeah.
His favorite part of grocery shopping is the doot, like, and then the kids just I want a balloon.
Grab it. You don't do anything else. It's not like
I don't have to come in. I go in. I put it. There's cameras, a zillion cameras, but I think they are changing it to your grocery cart's going to be the checkout thing. You put your bags in it. You just put it in. You walk out, bring it to your car, load it. I don't interact with a human. Favorite experience, and I like people, but this is just like I think grocery shopping is my least favorite human experience. But I still want the deal, so I still feel like I'm getting the deal. Without,
you still want to shop too.
I still want to shop
in the store.
It's out there. Yeah. So, but I would say it was a pleasant experience. And I actually went on Amazon Prime Day, and it was like six avocados for like $1. I was just like,
let's go.
So
get all the avocado toast.
It was like in person Prime Day was very interesting.
That sounds like fun.
It was fun. So sorry, Jeff Bezos's new yacht's probably going to be my name.
That's true. I love it. His worth is equal to the impact he's had. Just we can't get into like should they even be billionaires, but like everyone uses Amazon. There used to be no Amazon, right? Tesla, iPhones.
You got Julie.
Well, I don't know if we mentioned it, but on Best Article, Jade did a drawing, a sketch. Amazing. She's been doing these for us. She's on our creative team. So if nothing
Jade's
else,
a fave.
Go and look at the hand drawing she did for that blog article. But my other one is, and see, I sound crazy because my last one was about a weird book and now it's a weird podcast. So I listened to Scamanda. Has anybody listened to Scamanda?
Nope.
Good.
Scamanda.
About a scam artist. Fascinating. And then the other one, I'm not sure if I should recommend it because it is weird. Like it's weird. So if you don't want something really weird, it's called Sweet Bobby and it's a catfishing story. But it like, oh my gosh. I told a friend to listen to it. And she called me last night and she was like, oh my gosh. So just a warning on that one. But I've been listening. I used to listen to all the murder podcast. I had to come off of that because it was too much.
I can't do it.
It was too much. So now I'm into these like scam catfishing ones. And they give me like the taste of that without all the murder. But they're wild.
So. We finally started Game of Thrones, which is like welcome to 2011, 2012 when it came out.
I watched the last 2 seasons. Yeah.
And so we're only in we just started season 3. So I'm like, is that really necessary? Like, do they really have to show that?
Well, and you know what's going to be funny is like sometimes like you can sense the director shift. Same thing with it feels off brand. And I just feel like so much money could be made out of that. And then it just kind of faltered. Like obviously there's the new show, which I think is really good right now, but whatever. Yeah, but what do you,
so like in the infancy, like, it's like amazing to me right now.
Still good.
But I'm still like, really? Like, we didn't have to see that. Like, did that have to be the storyline? Because that's really just uncomfortable here. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. So I warned you. I warned you on that podcast.
Scamanda and the other one. Both of those are
Sweet Bobby.
fooling people or deceit,
Mhm.
right? That's kind of like the
Yes.
word to describe those. Okay.
Yes.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. Sweet. Well, do we read the outro? I never know.
think
Who's
so.
ever listened this far anyways? So I'm not going to read it because I think Kevin reads it really well. So that was great.
Bye,
Until next
everyone.
time. See y'all.
Yeah.
Bye.